Okay, the next lesson is circles. Now, the first thing I usually do when I teach this lesson is ask everybody what a circle is. Now, when I ask that question, I usually get, it's round, it's a shape, it's this thing, it has no edges, and, these are all true. The question is, what makes a circle a circle? What makes it special? Now, when you understand that the circle is nothing more than a bunch of dots that just happen to be forming this particular shape, but there's something, again, special about this shape. I have a dot in the middle there, and if I take any one of those points, now, you can't see them because there's an infinite amount of them, and they're so close it looks like it's one big, smooth, continuous curve. All of those points on the edge of this circle all have the same distance to that one in the middle. That's what makes a circle a circle. It's just a set of points that all have the same distance to one point in the middle. So that's what I'm going to write for you. So, boring definition time. A circle is nothing more than a set of points that are all the same distance from a fixed point that happens to be in the middle. That point in the middle is called the center. Duh. The distance from those points, all these points around the edge there, to the center is called the radius. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So if you were to go from any point on the edge there, that distance, now they use a little r. Unfortunately, my little r tends to look like a V. I try hard not to draw it that way, but they use little r. They don't use big R, or I would, because my big R doesn't look like a V. All right, so point in the middle called the center, and the distance to the center from the edge is called the radius. Now, yes, if I were to go from one edge through the middle, through the center, all the way to the other edge, that would be called the diameter. You don't need that at all in these questions, so I'm not even going to write it. It's not important. Okay, so what does a circle look like? Well, I'm very glad you didn't ask, because I'm going to tell you anyway. This is the form of a circle. Circles are x squared, y squared, r squared. All right, now there's these other numbers there, which I'll get to in a minute. But basically, x squared and y squared added together, circle. Now, the center is when there's going to be numbers here. Now, look, this is a generic thing, okay? They just use h and k. I didn't make this up. This is the standard form of a circle, okay? So the center is whatever these numbers are, you just switch them. So if you had a negative h and a negative k, that would be your center. Remember, this is still x and y. This is still a point, okay? They're just using h and k to represent the numbers that could be there. This might be a +2, then you would put a -2 here. This might be a -7, then you'd put a +7 here. You just switch the signs, okay? Very easy. Now the radius, notice I wrote r squared there. The radius is just the square root of that, which is just r. So if this, see again, my r looks like a V. No matter how hard I try, man, I just can't do it. Come on. If this was 16, this would be 4. If this was 49, this would be 7. If this was 100, this would be 10. This will always be a perfect square. They're set up that way. They're designed that way, okay? I'm going to do a ridiculously simple, easy baby example first. So here is ridiculously easy baby example. It says, find the center and radius and sketch. Well, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm sketching this. Okay, so again, standard form of a circle. X squared, y squared, r squared. The center you just take whatever numbers are here and you switch them. That becomes a +1. That becomes a -2. And remember, this is x. I am going to draw this, so I'm going to plot this point. So I remember it's x, y. Right? Now the radius is just the square root of 9, which is 3. Pow! Easy peasy. Yeah, the hard part's drawing this stupid thing. This is it. This is what the circle looks like. This. You just read the center right off. Switch. Do the radius. Wow. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't write something down. So I wrote the thing. So like I said, to get the center, you just switch the signs of the numbers inside, whatever they are. If they're minus, you make them plus. If they're plus, you make them minus. Real easy. The numbers inside the parentheses. And obviously, x comes before y. So you put x first and y second. Hello, as long as you remember your alphabet. Now, for the radius, you just take the square root of whatever number is here. That's why if this was an 11, you'd have radical 11. I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do with that? You wouldn't be able to draw this. They have to make this, if they're going to expect you to draw a circle, and by the way, this question does show up on the department final. You have to draw the circle on the final. So if they're going to make you draw a final, how the hell are you supposed to draw radical 11 distance? I mean, 3, I can do 3. What does this mean? It means I plot this point in the middle, and then I would go up 3, down 3, left 3, right 3. You're going to see me do it. I'm going to do it with you in a minute. So, but, you know, doing this is the easy part. Drawing it's kind of annoying and obnoxious, and I'm going to need to make myself a grid and draw this. So I will. All right, I'm going to attempt to draw this. I don't like drawing these. I typically draw these very poorly, but anyway. First, you have to make the dot in the middle. I mean, you need to make the center. So 1, -2 would be right there. That's my middle dot, okay? X is 1, Y is -2. So you go right 1, down 2. Now, you can't get a distance of 3 on diagonals. You would never be able to do it. So all I need now is to just make 4 points and connect them with arcs and make myself a pretty circle. So I'm going to go from here. Whatever my radius is, I'm going to go up, down, left, right. I'm going to go up 3, down 3, left 3, right 3. And I'm going to do it with you. So first I'm going to go up 3. Now, keep in mind, I drew this by hand. This ain't going to be pretty. All right, if I had graph paper, it would be a little better. So I'm going to go 1, 2, x-axis counts, 3. There's my first dot. Now I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. So right about there. And you see I already drew this. These are spaced out further than those because I drew this by hand and I'm an imperfect being. So I went up 3, down 3. Now I'm going to go left 3 and then right 3. Again, this counts as 1. You can't skip this and go 1, 1, 2, 3. So right about there. Now I'm going to go right 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, rather than just try to make the circle, what I do is I draw a bunch of arcs, and I'm not going to subject you to the horror of watching that. This is typically about as good as I draw it. You can always make your dots a little bigger to make it look pretty. So all I did was connect my 4 dots that I made with little arcs. I don't actually just try to make a circle, because I do that very badly. So I just make little curves around. I know it's not perfectly circular, but this is the best I can do. You draw the center. I went up 3, down 3, left 3, right 3. If my radius was 1, I would have went up 1, down 1, left 1, right 1. That's the only way you could make a point with that distance. Remember, radius is the distance to the middle. So, you know, what are you going to do? Try to make a diagonal there that's 3? You're not going to be able to plot that. You need 4 points that you can actually plot. And yes, you have to have those 4 points, or else you're not going to be able to make the circle correctly. So just for fun, I decided again to write my little statement here. Plot the center point first, and then starting from there. I mean, where do you go up 3 and down 3? From where? From the origin? No, you go from the center of the circle. So you start in the middle of the circle, you go up 3, down 3. You go right 3, left 3. I know I said left, right, but I always start on the left. I mean, we read left to right. So either way, whatever that radius is, if it was 2, if it was 5, they try to keep this small because, let me tell you something, if this radius were 10, I'd have to start in the middle and then go up 10, down 10, screw that crap. I'd put the FT on that one. I wouldn't even do that, all right? So the radius will typically be 4 or less. When I make them for you, I try to make the radius 1, 2, or 3. And usually, you know, I'll make it 1 or 2, so it's easy for you to draw the circle. All right, now I'm going to take a little trip down memory lane with you. And it's not going to be obvious why, but just for fun. So here, we are taking our walk down memory lane. Why? I don't know, just for fun. If I was going to solve this, I'm not going to lie to you, I would use the quadratic formula. This doesn't factor. However, just for fun, I'm going to solve this by completing the square. Let's see. I think I had to move that number over there, if I'm not mistaken. Let me leave myself more room here. Wow, this board is really erasing badly. I leave myself space. Now remember the steps in completing the square. Whatever number was in front of the x, you cut that number in half, and you put a little circle around it. You square that number, and you add it to both sides, right? So I would do -4 squared, which is 16, and I would add a 16 here, and I'd add a 16 here, right? That was the move. Number, other side. Take the number in front of x, cut it in half, put a circle around it. Square it and add it to both sides. Now, here, whatever. And over there you'd have 15, right? 16 take away 1. Now, what was the point of doing this? The point of doing this was, I create a perfect square here. And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is he doing this for? This is so stupid. We did it so long ago. I don't need to do this. So, the number that you circled goes here. If you were to take x minus 4 and do x minus 4, if you were to square it, if you were to multiply it out, you'd get that, right? This is a perfect square. And then you would take the square of both sides, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to stop here a second. Now, if you remember just a few moments ago, if you're watching the video and you're not sleeping through it, you can rewind and watch it again. My circle had stuff like this in it, right? Okay, so very, very interesting. All of a sudden there's a question there. Oh boy. Find the center and radius for, what the hell is that supposed to be? Yes, x squared, y squared, right? Circle has x squared, y squared. This doesn't look like what I wrote before. Oh boy. So, now maybe it's obvious to you why I took the walk down memory lane. Now, when I taught you complete the square, and I did teach it to you when we were still meeting face to face. Yay! Oh, I miss those days. So, I did mention to you that completing the square is very important for something we're going to do later, and now it's later. I'm going to move that number to the other side. So what did I do, and why the hell did I do it? Well, I arranged the x's together, and I arranged the y's together. Why did I do that? Because I'm about to complete the square. This is not in the correct form, okay? You are not going to be able to tell the center and radius by staring at this thing. Good luck with that. Yeah, the radius is -33. Sure, the radius, which is a distance, is negative. Okay, whatever. So you can't. I know the center is 10 and -6. You switch the signs. No, that's wrong too. All right, you have to complete the square. You have to complete the square twice. You have to complete the square for x. You have to complete the square for y. And then and only then will you know what the correct number is supposed to be on the other side. You ain't going to know until you do that. So my first step is to collect everything together. So all I did here was just write. They're going to give you the equation like this. I promise. It's going to look like that. So your first step is to get the number over on the right side. Put the number on the right. And then rearrange the terms. They might actually have them like that. But most of the time they tend to write it like this. They tend to put the x squared and the y squared together and then the x and the y together. You don't want it like that. You want the x squared and the x together and the y squared and the y together. So rearrange. Now, I'm going to start getting ready to complete the square. I'm going to create the space that I need. I know what I have to do. I know I have to cut the numbers in front of the letters. I know I have to cut the number in front of x in half, square it, add it to both sides. I have to cut the number in front of y in half, square it, add it to both sides. You got to do this simultaneously. You're completing the square twice. So you have to, this is the step. So I'm going to write it. So again, take half of -10, get -5. Take half of +6, get +3. Very careful with your signs here. Again, the death of a lot of you is your signs. So many sign errors. Now remember, cut this in half, square it. Multiply it by itself. You're always going to get a positive. So 5 times 5 is 25. So you're going to add a 25 here. Whatever you do there, you better do over here. Right? You got to keep your scale balanced Whatever you add something to the left, you got to add it to the right. So I cut 6 in half, I got 3. Square it, add it to both sides. You only put it here. But I also have to add it over there. There you go. You see? Boom. So all I did basically is just rewrite it. I want to go real slow and careful here, even though you can just watch it again and again if you don't get it. So I stopped writing it in red because it just looks weird. I did collect the numbers that I added. If you ever get a negative number here, right? I mean, does this make sense? Distance, go get a tape measure and open it and see if there's negative numbers on it. This has to be positive. It also has to be a perfect square, and it will be. So that side's going to be a 1. But before I get there, remember, why did I do this? I have to put this in the correct circle form. So I need something squared here, and I need something squared here. Now, this is going to be x. The number that you circled, right? Half of negative 10 goes there. This is going to be y, half of positive 6. That's the reason that you circle it. I know some people weren't doing it. I remember when I taught you this lesson of completing the square. Some of you were putting a little circle there. Whatever number's in that circle goes there. It's just a convenience thing. You don't have to do it, but I do it. And then 34, take away 33 is 1. And now, you see, this is what the circle is supposed to look like. X squared, y squared, r squared. Now you have it in the right form. You had to complete the square twice. So I decided to write this step for you, just for the hell of it. Complete the square for both x and y. So from here down, that's what I did. Cut it in half, square it, add it to both sides, blah, 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 blah. So then I'm here. Now, my center, switch. It's going to be 5, right? X is 5. Y is negative 3. And then the radius, I don't know what the square root of 1 is. All right, so I went and checked on a calculator because I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, center, switch. Negative 5 becomes plus 5. Positive 3 becomes negative 3. The radius is the square root of 1, which is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, right? Now, oh boy. I don't really want to draw this for you, but I suppose I could try. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can squeeze it down over there in the corner. I'll try to make myself a grid. Keep your fingers crossed. That's about as good of a grid as I could do. All right. Here we go. I got to go 5 to the right. Oh, crap. I need another thing there. There we go. 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know I'm going to have to move the radius. And then down 3. So right about there. Now I'm going to go up 1, down 1, left 1, right 1. Because the radius is 1. So I'm going to go up 1. I missed my 5 there. Whatever. Up 1. Left 1, right 1, down 1, make a bunch of arcs. I drew a square. Listen, I tried. Make my dots bigger. There's my crappy little circle that I didn't want to draw for you, but I drew anyway, so I hope you appreciate it. The horror of it all. Listen, you're gonna draw them much better than me. You're gonna have to do this anyway, so you'll see it is a pain in the ass to draw them. But anyway, this is it. This is the question that shows up on the final exam, assuming you get to take one, and you may not, but either way, I guarantee you I will be making you do a circle and having to make the picture for me. So you rearrange the terms, get the number on the other side, complete the square for x, complete the square for y, put it in the correct standard form, read the center off, read the radius off, and then draw the center, and then try to figure out how to draw the thing and make it look prettier than I did. So, thus endeth the lesson. Good luck.